for now. I know everybody's got a lot of questions. We're going to have time to answer all of those. But just for the sake that we don't get a lot of audio feedback because we do have so many people on tonight, just mute your mics, and whenever we get to the questions, we'll let everyone open it back up. And so, Tyler, if you want to record this, feel free to hit the button. Just let everyone know we are going to be recording this tonight. So anything you say may be a matter of public record. This will probably end up on the YouTube page and sent out to all the other members who aren't here with us tonight.
We are officially recording.
Okay, right on. So welcome everybody to the NECAT stay-at-home member meeting. I just wanted to touch base with everyone just to see how everyone was doing, give you guys some news. Like I said, I know there is a lot of questions. Just about everyone on here, I think, knows me, but if you don't, I'm Cameron McCaslin. I'm NECAT's Director of Content and Member Relations. I basically represent NECAT and am your voice to the board. We have some of our board members with us tonight. Tyler Pittman is hosting us right now on the Zoom call. I know Brian Mansfield is on. I don't know who else has joined in.
Shayla just joined.
Shayla's on. So they can also answer any of the questions when it comes from the board's perspective, some things we're going to talk about. Basically, they're here to help support NECAT in all of the different things that we do, help find ways to make it happen, whether it be finding people to volunteer, finding money for us to be able to do these programs, putting classes together and making sure that all happens. I am your advocate to them. So anything you tell me, I usually take it to them and say, hey, this is what people are wanting or needing. And we try to, make that happen for you guys. So also with us, I know Chris Singleton is here with us from Metro. He'll, I believe, is going to be the one answering some of the questions about just an update from their point of view, things that are going on with the studio. We'll get to them in just a little bit. But I wanted just to kind of, rock through some of this and, kind of tell you what's been going on at NECAT in the last couple of months since the studio has been closed down, and just talk about kind of what we're planning on doing going forward. Before we get to any of that, I just kind of want to do a shout out to some of the people that are making stuff at home right now. I know right now it's really hard with the PEC studio being closed. It has interrupted the way a lot of you do your shows. But we do have people that are still making things at home, people that were making things in the studio that have moved over, people that have always been making stuff at home. But Chico and B-Man just started doing their program again at home, and they've actually been soliciting musicians to come on and basically play via video, record it, and showing it that way, which I thought was a really interesting way to keep that show going. Nashville Entertainment Weekly with TJ Cates continues to turn stuff in. I think TJ told me he was going to be on. I'm not sure if he's here yet, but congratulations to that. Spiritual Awakening 101, the Inner City Church of Christ, Dr. Gangrene Sanitarium have been turning in episodes just about every week since all of this has happened. So it hasn't stopped them. And just this last week, I know we got new episodes of both Cultureville and Fighting Against Bullying. And I just want to congratulate all of you on continuing to be able to do your shows in the best way that you know possible. And just encourage all of you to keep doing it however you can do it right now. Obviously, things are a little bit different than they have been in the past. It's funny because I know Zoom was kind of one of those things that we were planning on introducing at the studio whenever we put all the new equipment in, and we were worried that not everyone was going to know how to use it. And I think everyone in the last couple of months has kind of been forced how, to just take that kind of information in. But if you've got a telephone and and the ability to make things at home, keep making it, turn stuff in. We're looking for short form content, long form content, anything that you can continue to make. We're still trying to put it on the air. So if you got any questions about how you can do that better, if you want to reach out to me, just shoot me an email. I'm always here to answer questions, and I'll try to get back to you just as soon as I can. So I know one of the biggest questions that everyone has is what about, what does it mean for my membership now that the studio is not open? So I want to let everyone know first and foremost that we're going to be prorating everyone's amount. So like right now we've been closed just at about 6 months. So whenever the studio does open back up, we're going to give everyone's membership that extended amount of time. So if you had another 4 months on your membership, we're going to prorate that and give it to you once you get back. If you had, another 8 months, we're going to put that back, on there so you don't have to pay. For everyone who has continued to update their memberships during this whole thing, we appreciate that. It helps. Right now, say we're trying to, figure out all the different ways to pay for everything that has to get paid for, and that support helps. We just want you to know that whenever we do come back in, you're not going to be stuck with that, those months to months that you couldn't use the studio. All that's going to be prorated. I also just wanted to encourage you all to be using the Facebook member page. Just right now, if you have things that you're doing at home, if you need, help making those happen, whether it be volunteers on making artwork or maybe getting someone else to shoot some video on their side and sending it over, doing, editing, be talking to each other on that. As always, all the different social medias we're on at NECAT Network. So if you go to Instagram, you go to Twitter, if you go to Facebook, or if you go to YouTube, it's always at NECAT Network or the website /NECAT Network. So we're super easy to find on there. I want to tell you a couple things that we've been working on in the last couple months, really, since this all has really kind of started. It was a major upheaval for all of us, including myself, who, I was in the office all the time seeing all your wonderful faces, and I haven't been able to do that as often. But we've tried to keep NECAT going in the best way that we know how and to offer support to the community in Nashville the best way we know how. So since this has all started, we've been offering program space to Metro Nashville Public Schools. And what that has allowed us to do is we've given school teachers space to basically send us their content. We've been running it on our channels 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, for kids who may not have access to your regular, internet, I guess internet access as opposed to access to a television. So we've got a lot of really good feedback on that stuff. Since school has started back up a couple weeks ago, we've got some new programming that has come on with that. And the teachers are turning those things in. If you know a Metro Nashville public teacher that wants to, give us any kind of video content, put them in touch with me. We're doing that at no charge to them for membership. We love to see that content, and we want to give a space for more kids to get educated. So that's something that's always available. If you have an educational program yourself that you want to put on, reach out to me, and let me know, and we'll try to get you in a time slot that makes sense for, those kids that are watching, during the day. So we also this past week started a program called Feel Good Friday. I don't know if anyone got a chance to see it, but we partnered with the Nashville Public Library, which was a really cool setup because they sent us a whole lot of content that we started running across all 3 of our channels. And then last Friday, post along with Tyler Pittman here, have a conversation with a couple people from the Nashville Library and the Nashville Library Foundation about all the great things that are going on at the library as they kind of also get through this pandemic. The library's been closed for a while too, but they're doing a lot of neat stuff, and all of the great video content they have with their puppet shows and their storytime reads for kids, their discussions with authors, we were able to take all that and put it on the air, and we're going to continue to put that on the air. The other great thing about this Feel Good Friday situation is we're going to be talking to different nonprofits. Some of them that were featured on the Our Nashville show in the previous couple of years, which Trish Chris, who's with us tonight, hosted, as well as some other brand new nonprofits. We're just talking to them about what they're trying to do to navigate the pandemic. Nonprofits are getting hit really hard right now. It is tough for everyone to keep their doors open when you can't actually open your doors to the public. But everyone is trying to find new ways to serve the community, including us. The great thing is we started a GoFundMe, basically that's week to week, with the plan being that every dollar that is raised for that week will be split between us and whatever nonprofit we're featuring that week on Feel Good Friday. So last week we were able to raise money for the public library. We haven't announced all the next shows, but that'll be coming up. If you follow on the social medias, you'll be able to see kind of what's going on over there. It came up very quick, and our board members helped put it together. It was so neat how fast it got up and running, and we're really excited about that program going on. One of the other things that we're kind of pushing right now is the NECAT Film Festival, which we're going to be running October 24th through 26th. So right now we're taking different kinds of stuff, movies, short films, documentaries, music videos, through filmfreeway.com, which is a platform basically for filmmakers who have different, kinds of shorts. We do a lot of great things at NECAT. We've had a lot of people that have made great talk shows, which may not be a fit for the film festival, but we're trying to open our doors up to more people, both here in Nashville and all over the place, to send us content that may have never been seen before. So the great thing for you guys is if you have made anything, whether while you're at home, if you've made a short film, or if you've shot a music video in your house or done anything like that, you can send it in to us specifically for this weekend film festival at no cost. All you have to do is shoot me an email, and I can send you a waiver form. You submit it through Film Freeway, and we'll put it on the air that weekend. But there's going to be a lot of really neat programming. I encourage you all to watch it when the time comes. We've already got, I think we're up over 30 different short films and documentaries that have been submitted to us. I've been watching and trying to figure out how we're going to program it over those couple days, but it's going to be a really neat block of programming that I think hopefully, going forward, we'll be able to do this yearly. But for right now, it's something different than what you've probably been used to seeing on NECAT for all these years. So we're really excited about that. We're developing some new digital classes right now, both for our school-age kids and our adult learners. One of the things we're doing right now is working with our teachers from Metro Nashville Public Schools about our job shadow programs and our TV camps that we've done historically with the Nashville Predators Foundation. We're trying to find ways that we can still teach those kids how to make television, giving them just like a good first step into a film and TV career, and trying to do it in a way that they can still get the access they need and the professional looks that they can get from us when they can't actually come into the studio physically and touch the equipment. So right now, like I said, we're talking to the teachers. We plan to roll that program out between now and the end of the year. We're working with them, and as well as just finding all of our funding right now through grants and things like that. That's one of the big things we've been working on really all year, but in the last couple of months is just trying to get all of our grants written, covered from the people that had in the past. Whenever programs like we have shut down due to not having a studio, there's a lot of work that goes into making sure all of it gets reported on time and everyone knows that what we're doing and everybody's happy with us, because we want to make sure that future funding is always in place for you guys to do all the stuff that you do. So for our adult learners, we're also looking into classes that can be taught from home. This is more stuff like roundtables, a lot like what you're looking at tonight. You would basically log in and we would talk about different types of things that you could do. So this may cover things like screenwriting or journalism, doing stuff that's more specific to like sports broadcasting, doing play-by-plays, talking to athletes and commentators and things like that. We're totally open to ideas. If you have, things that you would like to see that isn't exactly the hands-on stuff that you get with coming in and touching a camera or, working on the board the way you have in the past, but maybe there's stuff that you want to learn about how to appear on camera, to how to present yourself. We're going to be trying to cover some of that stuff, and we're working with some people right now on how to raise funding to do that and just putting all the programs together in a way that won't add any additional cost to any of our members. You know what I mean? So you would be able to participate in this just as part of your regular ongoing membership. And we're really excited about that. I think it's going to be good. Like I said, financially, NECAT, like other nonprofits, we're struggling, just to find our footing right now during the pandemic. Me, along with the board, we keep trying to find these different initiatives that we can do to both raise money and to find places that we can, I guess just get the word out. So it really does help us, for everyone, like I said, who has renewed their membership, that little bit helps. For those that in the last couple of weeks have shared our GoFundMe campaign, that stuff helps. If you get a chance and you feel it appropriate, let people know on your social media that, NECAT's here. We're still doing stuff. We're still broadcasting. We haven't broke our programming since all of this started. We've been running 24/7, offering all kinds of stuff. And I really have been excited. We've had some people that have done shows about the pandemic, have offered some PSAs, on how to wash your hands and things like that. That's been really exciting. So if you want to make content like that may not be your regular show, but you're looking to do something while you're at home, make some of that short form content. We can find places to put that in between our regular programming. So just let me know that you want to do it, and we'll try to get it on there. Let me see here. Sorry, I'm looking at some notes. I want to make sure I'm telling you guys everything. At this point, is John Ferguson on?
He's joining right now as we speak.
Joining right now. So I'll give him just a second to get on. But so I know the big question in the room right now is, when is the studio going to be open again? And I know John has got a little bit of an update on that. So we're working right now with a couple of different entities. Nashville State has some rules and regulations that we have to live by. We're working with the mayor's office trying to figure out just the best way to make this happen. More than anything, your safety is our major concern. So as we have been doing all of, just putting the new infrastructure in as far as equipment goes, we've also been trying to figure out better ways to conduct how we're going to just live our lives when it comes to checking in and checking out, making sure all the things are clean both in the office space, in the bathroom space, in the eating space, and things like that. So we may have some new rules that come on whenever we do get back into the studio, and we know it's going to take a little bit of time for everyone to adjust to that, but we want to make sure that everyone is prepared for life to come. More than anything, we want you guys making television. We want to be able to be back in the studio. Trust me, I am so ready to get back in and see your lovely faces all again. It's so good to be on a call and get to talk to you all at once. I know over the last couple of months I've answered a ton of emails, made some phone calls and things like that. But if if you need me, I'm always there. Best way to do it is just email me. If you want a phone call, just let me know you want a phone call, and I will try to find a time during the week that I can just touch base with you. But so is John, are you on at this point?
Hey, Cameron. Yeah, I'm on.
So, John, I was going to open the floor up to you. I know you might have some updates from the Metro side just on just things that we're trying to put in place. I know we don't have an exact timeline, but I thought you might want to share any news you had from your side.
Sure. Yeah. So I spoke to the task force chair today regarding reopening, and their position is unfortunately where it was earlier a month ago when we first reached out to them, or maybe a month and a half ago. And they are in phase 2 of their 4-phase plan, which means that they are not allowing anyone from the public to go on to their campus. They are recommending that the PEG Studio coincide with the PEG Studio reopening coincide with their phase 4, which would then allow people from the public to go on the campus and allow us to reopen and operate as normal. They are going to be, according to her, going to be in lockstep with the Metro plan. So Metro is currently in phase 2, and so they are not going to go to their phase 3 until Metro goes to their phase 3. So they're taking a very precautious approach to this, which I think is smart. I think that with the increased numbers that have shot up recently, I think that it's in everybody's best interest that everybody be as cautious as possible. I've stated this many times in the past, but I don't think anybody wants to reopen more than I do, with the exception of maybe Cameron. But I'm very, very excited to reopen. Especially because, and this goes into the next thing I want to talk about, all of the improvements that we have made equipment-wise to the studio. And so none more important than the new TriCaster we've installed. It is what's called a TriCaster TC1, which is an upgrade from our old TriCaster 860. And it's got lots of small improvements, lots of minor things that are going to be better. The main thing that we are going to be able to do with this new TriCaster is we are going to be able to integrate these pan-tilt zoom cameras, PTZ cameras, which is going to change the way that we shoot shows in the studio. It is going to allow us to cut our our productions down from 4 to 5 crew positions that are sort of necessary if you wanted to do a show that is utilizing all of the equipment, so we can cut it down to 2 or even 1 person to do all of the positions inside the control room, which is going to be huge for a lot of people who are currently producing and have produced in the past. We know that when we've heard many people in the past reach out to us and communicate some struggles regarding finding crew and getting crew to come in and volunteer on their shows, and we understand that it's not easy sometimes to get a crew member to come and volunteer on their show, and so we have kind of built the equipment and built the new equipment with that in mind, trying to integrate more streamlined productions, trying to integrate more of the jobs that can be done by the producer, or him or herself. And so the other thing that, in addition to the PTZ cameras, which can be controlled by the technical director inside the control room, we've also got a add-on onto this TriCaster, which allows all of the functions of the TriCaster, all the functions of the switcher, they can all be controlled by either a laptop or even a tablet. And so we have added to the control room that'll be available for all of the producers. We've added an iPad Air, which can be used actually in the studio, and we've beefed up our Wi-Fi in the studio. So the beefed up Wi-Fi will allow you to actually use the iPad Air inside the studio, with the idea that you can theoretically switch your show from inside the studio while you are being the host of your show. And so obviously there's going to be a lot of kind of rubbing your belly and tapping your head for people who are not used to that, because it's going to be a lot of coordination, because you'll have to switch the cameras, and also you'll have to talk to the cameras. So because you'll be the host of the show, and if you have a guest, you'll have to communicate with them. But luckily, I think one of the things that it plays into our favor is now we should be all very, very familiar with sort of running our own productions in these Zoom meetings, or in these WebEx meetings, or in these FaceTime meetings, or anything else that we've been doing during this lockdown. We're all kind of got used to being one-man productions because we have to, and it's just the nature of the way that video production or TV production has gone. You notice that all of the late time talk show hosts and all of the morning time talk shows, they're all producing from their homes, and they have to take on a lot more of the jobs than were available, than were being taken on by crew positions and crew members and things like that. So I think it's just the evolution of video production is now becoming more sort of streamlined, and everybody is sort of having to do more to get a production done. But it sort of fits better with what we are, one of our problems, one of our drawbacks that we are running into, which is getting a lot of crew. And so it was a happy accident, I think, because I think that we were already planning to add this equipment with this in mind before the whole COVID thing. But it aligns itself perfectly with what we're trying to do in the studio to try to alleviate some of those things. So the TriCaster is all installed. We are still sort of having to as a team, as a production team, still learning it ourselves. So there's going to be a learning curve for all of us. That just comes with new gear. We're going to make sure that we are as prepared as possible for when we open, so we can help you guys with your productions and make sure that you can utilize all the new stuff. And so one of the things that we've been doing the last couple of weeks is creating some videos, some promotional videos that are going to really highlight some of the important improvements that we've made with this new equipment. And so none more important, in my opinion, than the PTZ cameras, which I think is going to completely change everybody's show. I think that I can think of one production team that I think will very much appreciate this improvement, which is the Chico and B-Man show. I know those guys come in and already sort of just do it streamlined with just the two of them. But this is going to allow them to potentially be able to switch their show with multiple cameras from out in the studio while they're communicating, doing their comedy bits with each other. So there's everybody else is also going to be able to use these new tools. But that was one show that I definitely thought about when I was putting this together. I was thinking to myself, this is going to be perfect for Chico and V-Man, and they're going to allow it's going to allow them to do more and bring more to their show that wouldn't be able to be brought to their show with the older equipment. So that's that's sort of my big thing that I wanted to communicate to everybody. And if anybody has any questions about some of the new stuff, there's also some other smaller improvements that we made, and we are still in the process of sort of finalizing those things. In addition to a couple additional phases that we are still in the process of purchasing equipment for, the lighting phase, which we want to make sure that we have everything, all of our ducks in a row with these first two phases. First, which is the audio and the video, and then we want to start implementing the lighting improvement, and then also the field camera improvement, which we've sort of been in a holding period for. But I think that we are probably going to be pulling the trigger on those projects in the next couple of weeks.
I'm pretty excited about the field equipment stuff, just because I know. I mean, right now, obviously, that is helpful for anyone who can shoot at home. But I think there's a lot of people that want to make things maybe not necessarily in the studio, or may want to supplement the things that they're doing in the studio outside of the building. That's going to be able to make that possible. I want to thank John and Chris, and additionally Tim and Adam, who have just been spectacular through this whole thing, helping us keep all the shows running and keep everything on the air. It's been drastically different for me. Just not having the office to go into, but still having all of the responsibilities of making sure that we're getting all your shows, we're getting it up on time, and making sure everyone's happy. And I feel for the most part, we've done a really good job of that. So congratulations to the Metro staff for that. And thank you guys for all the hard work on your end.
Yeah, Tim and Adam really deserve the major thanks for that. They've been doing the bulk of the work as far as bringing in, getting all the shows and getting them scheduled and getting them on the air. Those guys do a fantastic job. They've been really great over this over the shutdown and the COVID, which we really appreciate them for sure. And then Cynthia when she was still here too. So everybody's pitching in and doing what they need to do.
Right on. So I guess at this point we can open the floor. If anyone has any questions for myself or for John or for any of our board members, or if you just want to tell us what you've been doing or what you're working on as far as at home, what you're trying to make to send to us, we'd love to hear about it.
Hey, I just wanted to ask John, those TriCasters, what was the name of it? Were they called PZ? Were they PZ cameras? Is that correct?
So the TriCaster is actually, it's a NewTek is the name of the company, and it's the model number is the TC1. So it's the NewTek TriCaster TC1, and the acronym I was saying also is PTZ, which stands for Pan Tilt Zoom. Those are actually Panasonic cameras, but the PTZ stands for Pan Tilt Zoom. It allows you to be able to pan, tilt, and zoom those cameras remotely. And so you don't need any camera operators. You just need one person in the control room, and he or she can operate all of the cameras with a joystick or with what's called a positioner joystick on the TriCaster.
Right, and I appreciate that because I got to tell you, John, as a lifetime member of public access, and you know me, I go back a long way with public access. It's always been a pain to actually try and get volunteers to come to where we're at, because a lot of the times, you got to try something in order to get volunteers in order to come, because they're not getting paid. But at the same point, I've been trying to tell a lot of my friends about community access, and a lot of them are interested in it. But at the same point, the hill is, of course, taking the classes and getting all that, the payments and all that kind of stuff. But this new one, this TriCaster you mentioned, it's now we can just get 2 people in order to do the show, and that's great. I've been looking for something like this for a long time, because then if you do have the people to come in to help out with the cameras, that's great. But at the same point, you don't need to call like a whole bunch of them, like 4 of them, because 4 is a lot. 4 volunteers to help out with the studio is a lot, and that's coming from someone like me who was doing the slime show for years and years and years. And for these to come in and help out, it takes a lot of burden off of me when it comes to doing the show. So thanks, John. I appreciate that. I give you kudos on that.
Well, and if I could add to that too, some of the other neat things about this, I think, for everyone out there who has a talk show, you're going to be able to use that PTZ in studio, but you're also going to be able to interview people from across the web now in real time. So whenever you're filming in studio, you can talk to someone on camera, sitting in their home, just like we all are right now. And so I think it opens up a lot of options for your guests, because if you think about all the times that you've ever had people, you booked the studio and you had people that were supposed to come in and they couldn't find the place, or they were running late, or, their dog died and they couldn't be there, whatever reason that they give you that they can't show up. This makes it a lot easier for you to get guests, not only in Nashville, but across the globe. So it's like you can, talk to someone that's on the other side of the country in real time. That's an amazing change from what we have been used to in the past. And I think it's going to open up all these different talk shows that we have running on NECAT right now. in a way that has never happened before. One more point about, how you said about getting people involved. One thing else I want to tell you guys is right now with the stay-at-home situation, we have been trying to dedicate basically a stay-at-home time slot once a week where anyone, if you're not, even for people that are not members, if you have people that are making stuff at home right now, they can send it to me and we'll stick it in that time slot. There's no cost for them to become a member, in the hope being that whenever we do get back to the studio that they'll come join us, take the classes and get through that. But it kind of gives them the first taste of what NECAT can be for them as far as getting on the air and seeing their own faces in their own production. So I encourage you all, if you have friends at home that are creative people that are making things, let them know that we're doing that, because it's not a regular time slot like all of you have with your own shows, but it's a dedicated spot that we're trying to put all that stuff into. The interesting content that's getting made. So if it's a fireside concert where they're playing their own songs, or if they made their own wacky cooking video or anything like that, there's space for that right now. So let people know that that's happening. But yeah, anybody else have a question?
Cameron, I have a question about music videos, if I could.
Sure.
Hi, everybody. It's great to see you all, by the way. And you had mentioned, I'd asked you about some music videos, and you had mentioned something about doing at-home videos and putting together, something that's 30 minutes. And I was wondering, do you all also want just like 5-minute music videos that are individual, or does something does it need to be strung together into certain time segments?
Absolutely. So one of the things that we really have tried to push is more short form content. So music videos are especially easy for us to get on the air because every day we have what we call Indie Rock Block in the mornings, and it runs so we can take any music video that's getting made, whether it be a local or national, and we can stick it into those time slots. So if you're making music videos at home, we can definitely put it there. We're also looking for things to fall in between other programs, because we're like on NECAT Channel 19, most of the programs are a half hour long, but on our arts and education, some of the shows may be an hour and a half, some of them may be 15 minutes. And so we're always looking for stuff to fill content in between. So making things like that, you can send it to us and we can get it on the air.
Okay, great.
In those spaces. Yeah.
Okay.
We look forward to seeing it.
Thanks.
Anybody else?
Cameron, I have one question to ask you. I have a couple of shorts that I had worked on in the past, and they're really short, like 5-6 minutes and all. The only problem is they have like a James Bond kind of theme song in the background playing. Is that a problem, or?
It can be. What I would tell you to do, the best thing to do is send it to me, and let me see if I can help you get through the paperwork to cover that kind of stuff. Because the great thing now with all of these tools is it's pretty easy to track down what the song is, because you can put it up, you can ask your phone what it is you're listening to. At that point, we can find the paperwork that needs to get covered to cover that kind of thing. Music is one of those things that we want more music, and we don't want people to be scared to put music in their songs. But we also, living in a town called Music City, we want to make sure that we're respecting our musicians. We have a great thing set up it's on our website and in the studio right when you come in the front door, called the chart, that we kind of try to follow to make sure that we're covering all our bases. That way everyone gets paid the way they're supposed to be. But usually we can track down what the song is and figure out what rights we have to cover to go around it. But the best thing I would say is send it to me and let me take a look at it, and let's see if we can figure out a way to get it on the air.
Send it to you via email, or?
You can send it to me. If you've got a link to it that's already up, you can just shoot me an email link and I can take a look at it that way. Or you can send it through the FTP and we can look at it through there too. Whatever's easier for you. Yep.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Cameron?
Hey, how are you?
I can't hear. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Steve. Yeah, I hear you.
Hi. I did send in some short comedy bits, like sketch comedies. They were real brief, but I wonder if you got them. Or...
I know that I got them. I believe that we've got them programmed, but I couldn't tell you when they're airing off the top of my head. But if you shoot me an email, I'll try to look into that and see if I can let you know.
Okay. And so it's still kind of up in there about starting back at the studio, opening the studio.
Right now, we just don't have a date. We're working with both Nashville State and the mayor's office about when that's going to happen. They're telling us phase 4. And so the best thing you can do is just stay tuned to what the mayor's office is sending out through all the regular Metro channels. And whenever you hear phase 4, shoot me an email, and hopefully we'll have a date. It's one of those things like whenever we first started this, we thought it was going to be a month, and then that month stretched into, we thought we were going to be back in August, and then when we got to there, they were like, oh, no, it's not time yet. So I hate to keep putting dates on it because I just don't know right now. It's one of those things we are at the mercy of so many other entities, and more than anything else, we just want to keep everyone safe. We don't want anyone to get sick, and we want to make sure that we're all happy and healthy and that this place exists, and all of you are there with us, when the time comes to be able to make your shows again. So I'd say the best thing I can do for now is encourage you to keep making things at home the way that you have been doing. Keep sending that to us, and we'll try to find ways to put it on the air. I think more than anything, this is teaching us all how to do it differently, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think we have to grow, we have to change, we have to stretch our abilities in the best way, and this has forced a little bit of change. And I think that overall, long term, that's going to be a good thing. Even though I know it can be painful for everyone who's been making a show for so long to have that stopped. So, anything I can do to help, feel free to message me. I encourage you to do that, but just keep making that stuff at home and sending it my way. We'll get it on TV, okay?
Cameron, I had a question.
Okay, cool.
Sure.
Thank you.
I got an email that said something about, I don't remember the exact words, but since the studio had been closed, they were going to extend the memberships or whatever. And then
Correct.
about a week later, I got something that said mine had expired. So I'm not sure what I need to do.
So what basically happens is we have an automated system. So you pay your membership yearly, and at the end of that year, whenever you pay it, we go and manually we change it. Right now, people are getting those automated emails, but what we have committed to do at this point is we're going to extend everybody's membership when the time comes back. So if you had another 4 months on your membership, whenever we come back on, you'll have that 4 months, that you'll still be able to use. So no one's going to lose any time during this thing. We're still trying to figure out exactly how we're going to pay for all of that, because all those membership dues do help keep the lights on, in this place. So if you pay your membership now, you'll get that plus whatever time you already had on there in the end. You don't need to worry about it. If you're trying to submit something, because I did have someone recently who had, I guess it had lapsed, because we haven't been just renewing everybody because we're waiting till everyone gets back in the studio so we can just do it all in one big blanket fashion. But if you want to submit and you don't see your name on that producer list where you can submit a show, if you just shoot us an email, we can get that fixed for you. That way you can continue to do so. And then whenever we get back in, like I say, if we've been gone 6 months, we're going to extend everybody's membership up to that amount of time, depending on if you had 3 months left, you'll get 3 months. If you had 6 months, you would get 6 months, etc. Does that make sense?
I just didn't want to find out that I have to go back and start all over and take all the classes over.
No. All your classes are still good. Everything, I've got a lot of people here that are longtime members, and I've got a couple people here that have just got started out. Maybe even somebody that took the first class but not the second class. So anybody that wants to take the class again, you're going to be welcome to do so. We're trying to figure out now how we're going to be able to open up that, both to get everyone reacquainted with the studio in general and train you on those PTZ cameras that John was talking about earlier. We're trying to find a balance between how many classes we need to hold right out the gate versus how much time, because people want to get back in the studio and make shows. And so one of the things we also know is some of the shoot time may get cut down a little bit because the changeover between the morning, whoever shoots in the morning versus whoever shoots in the afternoon, we don't want people crossing paths in the building as much, just for safety reasons. So as opposed to where used to we get the studio till 5, you may have to be out by 4:30 just to give the staff time to clean up everything, just due to, wipe down the cameras and make sure all that stuff is covered. But we haven't got all that in place. We don't want to jump the gun because we don't know when we're going to be back. But that's all stuff that's getting developed right now. But just to let everyone know, again, like you're not going to lose any of your time that you paid for as a member. You're going to get all that covered.
Hey, Cameron, that brings up a point. Maybe we should send out some other email to the members, saying if you get this automatic email, just realize,
Absolutely.
I know we already did it once, but maybe just, so we don't have any more confusion.
Sure. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Sure thing, Leah. How are you? You're breaking up on my end.
Yeah, she's breaking up on mine too.
Can you guys hear me now?
I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. I was just wondering if we're going to get an email that has the details of where students can submit information or videos that they've been creating.
Absolutely. So the best way to do that is just to email me directly at Cameron@necatnetwork.org. Just let them know. Say, hey, just send me an email that says "stay at home" in the title line, and we'll take a look at that content and tell them how to get it over to us via the FTP. We're trying to send out all the instructions for anyone. Just today, I sent that to, I don't remember who it was now. May have been Tina, but we're trying to get everyone to send it over to the FTP because it's the easiest way to get it on the server when we're not in the building. But we're trying to find workarounds for all of that stuff. So it's one of those things. If they're making stuff at home, just shoot me an email. Say, hey, this is what we did. A lot of times, if you send me a link, if you have uploaded it to a place like YouTube and send me a link, I can look at it from there and tell you if it's a good fit, if it'll make sense. And as long as it still meets all of our regular guidelines, the same as, all the same rules that everyone goes by as far as original content, music and things like that, we will get it on the air.
Cameron, one question. Your email, is that on the website?
It is on the website. It's under the contact form. I'm super easy to find, and like I say, and I'm also in the Facebook member group. I'm there just about every day checking to see if anyone's messaged. So if you need to talk to me, shoot me an email. That's the best way to get me. But you can also leave a note through the messaging or just on the main page saying, hey, Cameron, I need to talk to you. Let me know the best way to get in touch with you, and I'll reach out.
So if I wanted to send you something off of YouTube, like one of my little shorts, should I just email
me
you?
a link? Yep.
Okay.
Email me a link.
Okay.
I have a question. Hi, Cameron.
Hey, how are you?
Martina. Hey, thanks for the invite here. What is the format that you prefer for content to be sent to you? Does it have to be on YouTube?
No, it doesn't have to be on YouTube. The best way to get it to us is through the FTP. That's the most simple way to get it into the studio. For non-members, it's because they don't have a space on the website, it can be hard for them to do that. But everyone that is a member, there's a drop-down box where you can pick your name and you can submit it through the FTP. That's the easiest way to get it to us. But if you ever want to, if you have a question about content, or like if you're saying, hey, is this good for the, maybe it's not your regular show, but it's something you want to run. If you send me a link to YouTube, I can watch it that way just as easily as I can the other way. So that's fine to email it. You can email it to me that way. What I'm going to do is probably watch it, go, yeah, send it through the FTP and we'll get it on the air. So.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Anybody else?
I just want to say one thing. I know I haven't been part of public access in a long time. And I had, in case anybody doesn't know, I had a show on with me and Joey. It was called the Bad Poet Show / the Slime Show. And we had been doing so much really well. And I just want to say thank you to Cameron and John Ferguson for doing all you can to help make the studio better. And it has been, from what I've seen, with the huge green screen, which I was talking about that for a long time. But I just want to take this time and opportunity to thank you guys for the hard work you guys have done, and even made it much easier to put shows back on the air. And I also brag a lot about what goes on. I talk a lot about public access and where I got my start, considering my mom used to work for public access too a long time ago. So it's really refreshing to see that it's now easier to put on shows at public access than it was, say, back in the past. So I really want to give a really big shout out to John Ferguson and you, Cameron, for doing all what you can to help make the studio a hell of a lot better for us creators. So thank you, guys.
Well, I appreciate that. I believe in local TV. I think it's important to give space for voices of all kinds to come in together and speak their piece and say what they want to say. There's so many people working behind the scenes, like the Metro staff that you mentioned, and all of our board of directors, and just the other members that volunteer for shows. You guys make it happen more than me. I'm just here to help navigate it and answer the questions more than anything else. But I have definitely, I've been really proud of all of the work that's happened in the past year since I've been on. I think there was a lot of great things that happened with the people that were right before me to help keep NECAT together and launch some initiatives that hadn't been there before. So I think every generation has a space, and I think everyone has room to improve on it. I feel like we're doing that, and that really I think goes back to you guys making shows more than it ever will be me sitting here pushing buttons and making it all get on the air. But so.
Well, it's a big difference from what it used to be, like 3/4 inch and half-inch machines. And by the way, I just wanted to mention you something. I'm actually trying to get old shows from the slime show digitized. My only problem is that trying to convert them into, because they're all on half-inch and some of them are on 3/4. So that's the problem that I'm having, because I'd like to put a little bit of the best of that, but it's difficult to go from half-inch to digital.
3/4 I may can help you out. I actually have a 3/4 inch machine in my garage that I have kept for that very reason.
Well, I'll have to check and see if I still have any of 3/4, but if I do, I'm definitely gonna get in touch with you.
Yeah, let me know. I say I could probably help out with that. And again, it's like if we know people. I have friends around town who. I'm an old gearhead myself. I mean, right now to my right there is a literal TV VCR sitting on my desk that I still use. So there are ways to make stuff like that happen. Let me know that that's something you want, and I'll try to put you in touch with some people that may can help get some of that digitized for you. We'd love to see it. I know the Bat Poet and Slime Show is legendary in the studio. I know it was, Joey was on the cover of the Scene a couple times. I still get people come in all the time, and whenever they say, well, what is NECAT? And I say, well, did you ever see the Bat Poet? And they say, oh yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the station. So it lives on for sure. So yeah, I'd love to see that stuff.
Oh, by the way, Cameron, one other question I want to ask you about the classes. Are there going to be, I noticed you guys had the makeup and special effects. Are those like separate, or are they going to still be there, or?
It is. So kind of one of the things that we try to do, we have our regular, we have our production and pre-production class, which is the class that all of our producers have to take. We also offer an editing class, a green screen class, and an audio class at no additional cost to any of our members who can just come in and get some extra training on those things. In the past, we've also done some specialty classes. Last year, we did a thing with SAG-AFTRA who came in and they taught some acting stuff. All of that is stuff that we plan to do when we get back in the studio, and as well as digital right now, just try to do some roundtable talks where people can come in, talk about directing, talk about screenwriting, talk about journalism, and really just have you guys come in and listen and ask your questions. And I feel like just having those conversations a lot of time can make you a better TV producer, a better filmmaker, however you want to brand yourself. Yeah. It's just the idea of conversation opens those doors. That's something that we're always trying to do, both at home right now while we have to be at home, and when we get back together, the plan is to always have that be there. The makeup stuff is something we've done it in the past for our adult learners, and last year I know we did it during our TV camp for the kids. So it is definitely something we're still involved with, and as long as all the people over there will have us or come visit us, we'd love to have them back.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool. So should I be watching to what the mayor has to say about public access opening, or should I be watching Nashville Tech?
Sure. I will defer to John on this one, but I would say that as soon as I know, you guys will know. I promise. Like, there's no one itching to get back in that studio more than me. And I want to get you all back. So we'll be sending out an email blast, but again, I'll defer to John and let him speak on that again.
Yeah. So David, we are going to be in coordination with both. So obviously the mayor's, weekly, now he's dropped it to once a week. COVID updates are going to play a big part in it, because when they announce that they're going to be switching over, going into phase 3, that is going to mean that Nashville State is going into their phase 3, according to the chair of the COVID-19 task force for Nashville State. However, we are still going to connected to phase 4 of Nashville State's plan. So we're still going to probably be needing to get to phase 4 for the for Metro government as well. So I think that Nashville State is going to be taking their cues from the mayor's office. but they still will need to make the final call as far as when they are going to their phase 4 plan. There is a COVID-19 update from the mayor's office tomorrow, so you should probably tune in to that and see what the update is. We'll be covering it on Metro National Network Channel 3, and so you can view that on the on our Nashville.gov website at stream.nashville.gov, but also you can view it afterwards on YouTube. So I think that the answer is you're going to have to be watching for both of those. But like Cameron said, as soon as we are opening up, we'll be blowing on the trumpet. So I don't think you're going to need to listen very, very hard to hear that we're going to be opening up. I think that we'll be making sure that we get the word out as strongly as possible.
All right. Well, that's good. Thanks, guys.
Are there any other questions? Anything that we can answer, or anything you want to know about, whether say at stay at home or just going forward for the future when it comes to equipment, things like that?
I just have another question about going forward with the classes as a new TriCaster. Is that something that you guys are going to try to set up, like schedule classes for people who, because for me, I feel like I was just getting my feet wet before this whole thing kind of popped off. And so I'm still kind of in that realm where, okay, I think I remember everything, but now that there's new equipment, will we have like a refresher class and then an additional class on how to use the new equipment?
Sure. So the way that historically in the past, we had started running a monthly production class, which is the one that Tim and Adam would teach. And then bi-monthly, at least, I would teach the pre-production class for everyone who graduated and wanted to be a producer. The past year, there were multiple months where we had to book 2 and sometimes even 3 classes because we had so many new members coming in that wanted to get involved. We will continue to put as many of those classes in place as we can monthly, as well as if we have new members, it's no big deal for a previous member like yourself to just say, hey, I want to sit in on the class again. We'll make room for you to come in and do that and be part of the rotation that night. One of the other things we had talked about doing before this all kind of happened, and still something that I hope that we can do in the future, is, like I mentioned earlier, we do a lot of music video content that runs on the station. We had talked about doing a kind of just doing hosted segments where basically we would have members come in. You could host the music videos that week, or just like some weeks it might be me, some weeks it might be you, et cetera, et cetera. But it would allow people to come in and get some more on-camera time and behind-the-scenes time for stuff that would actually go on television that would already be pre-planned and things like that. So you wouldn't have to commit to a half-hour show as much as you would just have time to knock out some things like that. So that's one of the things that we're hoping to do when we get back in, to give people an opportunity to get a little bit more practice time in on something that is ever changing, because the music videos rotate in and out pretty frequently. So that's something that when we get back, we hope to do, but it's hard to give all the details on it because we just don't know when that's going to happen just yet. But absolutely, you'll have opportunities both for things like that, to audit classes again, or or to volunteer on a show. A lot of times, if you want to get some more action in the studio, it's easy for me to find someone who needs help. Most of you, I think, would agree that it is hard to get crew members, and sometimes the best thing you can do is just go sit in with the show and watch what they're doing or help them get it done. You can learn a whole lot by just actually, making something. So if you need that help, just let me know. We'll find space for you to do that.
Okay, cool.
Hey,
thank you.
Also, Cameron, I just want to add that we also encourage very heavily for members to book studio time for practice. I mean, I think that's something we I think has been beneficial for a lot of people. It's a no pressure situation where people can come in, get their hands on the equipment, and just practice. There's nothing wrong with that. We encourage it, and also we'll be there, on hand to be able to walk you through all of the equipment, especially because we've got a lot of new stuff. So we've been doing that in the past. We're walking through equipment with people as they come into practice, but we are going to be doing it especially because of all of the new stuff that we've got. So we understand that it's going to be a learning curve for a lot of people, and that's the way it is normally, even without COVID. Is that maybe you come in and book on this day, but maybe you don't come in for another month or two, and so there's going to be a little bit rusty. You got to kick off, and there's going to be a lot of relearning. And so we understand that that's nothing new. And so the guys, Tim and Adam, are very patient, and they have no problem kind of walking through any questions you have about the equipment that we've got. That's the one thing you should never be afraid to do, is ask questions when you're there shooting. You shouldn't be required to remember everything from class. That's ridiculous.
Well, and one of the big things that I encouraged in the past year, whenever we were making all this brand new stuff, was a lot of times you get finished with class and you're ready the next day to come in and start making your show. But I have encouraged people to come in, pitch me their ideas, tell me what they want to do. That way I can take the experience that I have and say, these are the pitfalls you may fall into. Look out for these kind of things. But also, like John said, that first studio booking, maybe don't even plan that that's going to be your first show. Just do a dry run. You know what I mean? Come in, put your set together, figure out where your cameras are going to go. Just spend that 5 hours that you get to do a dry run on and figure out where everything's going to go. Take pictures, mark it down, draw diagrams, work on that stuff. That way when you come in for your second, booking, you come in and you kind of already know where it's all going to be placed. So you don't spend that time putting it all together as much as you've got more time with your guests to actually, shoot your show. So I would encourage you to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Dan Meredith has his hand raised.
Hey, Dan.
Online manual for the new TriCaster, something that we might be able to look over?
I'm sure you can. John,
I can send out the manual as soon as this call's over. If I can work with Cameron and getting an email list, or I can send it to everybody on this.
right now at videos.
Okay.
I'm sorry, who was that?
Hey, John, can you hear me? Hey, John, I'm actually now looking at. Oh, it's Steven. I'm actually looking. There are videos on YouTube that tell you exactly how to run the TriCaster. I'm actually looking at one now.
Yeah, so good. So it's the PC1. And so there's plenty of documentation and videos. There you go. So Steven just put the link in the chat for the YouTube video. So that's very, very beneficial. But yeah, the manual I can make sure is distributed and people can start reading it before you get into the studio.
We can get that out through email. Steven, if you would be so kind, can you also post that in the Facebook member group just so everyone will have it there to take a look at as well?
Will do.
Thank you, sir.
Steve McClure has his hand raised.
Sure.
Yes, for Cameron. I wonder if there's any money in the budget set aside for props. There's a lot of stuff for like having a talk show, but some other things like
Sure.
I don't know, doing sketch comedies runs into some money buying costs and what have you.
So I know one of the things
I'm thinking I could use I don't know about the green screen. Maybe I could use that or.
Yeah. So I know one of the things that me and John had talked about a lot in the months leading up to us being closed down was spending some money on some new backdrops, some just things like props. I know there was some discussion about getting a more news desk kind of thing going on as well. All stuff that, part of it is just making sure that the finances are there from Metro side that we can get that. I know we had a list going. If there's anything member-wise that you think we could use, if you send it to me, I'm happy to try to put it out there to see if we can make it happen. It really it comes down to the things that are going to benefit the most amount of people. We expect, whenever you produce a show here, it is your show. You own the copyright to it. You're responsible for everything that goes on the air. So when it comes to certain things, if you've got a sketch with a giant hot dog in it, you're going to have to provide a costume of a giant hot dog. We're not going to buy that for you. But if for some chance we do buy a giant hot dog costume and you write a sketch around it, then, more power to you. So there will be some new props and some new sets in place. Fingers crossed, whenever this is all said and done, that we will be able to get all that up and running pretty quick. But it's just a matter of, again, we're trying to get things that are going to help everyone or as many people as possible in the best way. Best thing to do is if you have something that you think would be beneficial for everybody or something you think that would be used in the studio well, send me an email, say this is what it is. If you've got a link to it, let me know. Me and John will discuss it and see if we can figure out a way to make it happen either from Metro side or from NECAT side. I know just in the something as simple as I told John, I was like, hey, we need some Apple boxes because that's something that, every studio should have. And it was pretty easy to make that happen once we kind of said, like, this is something everybody would use. for all these different types of productions. So it is possible. And again, John, if you want to chime in on any of this, feel free. But that is definitely something we're working on. Just let us know what you think would be beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, I think Cameron answered it pretty perfectly. I think that the main thing that you could do to make sure that we are getting the tools and the equipment that you need is to send us your wish list. I mean, I think that if there is enough of a need for it, we can definitely get what's necessary and get what is needed. There is money that can be spent for certain, things that are beneficial. So if enough people are looking for it, then we can definitely do it. And Cameron and I have both had discussions about props in the past, and so I think it's definitely something that we can upgrade because we have been using the same sets for a long time.
I always joke whenever I give tours of the studio about our brick walls because they're on so many different shows, and I tell people all the time, if I've traveled America quite a bit, and if you are a person that travels, for work or for pleasure or whatever, find the local public access station in whatever town you're in, Louisville, New York, Cleveland, Los Angeles, whatever. If you turn on public access at your hotel and just watch it, sooner or later you're going to see that same brick wall. I don't know what happened back in the 80s. I think they just issued them to everybody, but all the public access stations have them. We have kept ours for all these years. I know I've seen some shows from 20 years ago on NECAT that had that same stuff. So I think it's about as long as that building has been there, those brick walls have been there. So we do need an update. We're working on that. But, again, just send us the stuff that you want and we'll try to make it happen.
Just don't get rid of the plastic ferns. Zach Galifianakis actually does a show called Between Two Ferns and all. So I was just saying, love
Absolutely.
Those ferns.
I tell people all the time, that's the thing about, if you think about, public access is special. It's different. It's like we're not competing with the big shows on TV. It's like people aren't deciding between us or, NCIS or Walking Dead or pick whatever your favorite show is. If they're watching Access, they want a specific type of thing. They want to see local content from just a different kind of voice. And those are the voices that you guys all have. I know when it comes to the way that we feel about politics and religion and just our, socioeconomic stuff, every one of you comes from a different place. And because you come from that different place, your voice is important. It offers a perspective that no one else is going to have. And we want you to be able to relay that to the masses in a way that, I don't know, if you weren't doing this, I don't know what you would do, but say everyone here, has something special to say. We want to give you a space to do that. Is there any other questions that we can answer for you guys? We've been on just about an hour now, so we're going to start wrapping it up. But if there's anything else, you can always email me. I know John's really good about email too. If you've got questions for him, I'm sure he'd be happy to answer it. From our board members, is there anything anybody wants to chime in and say?
This is Tyler Pittman, the chair. I wanted to reiterate some of the things that Cam said. First of all, thank you for your patience as we're dealing with this time. And as he mentioned, we want nothing more for the studio to be open for you guys to get back in there and use this great new equipment. We are working, as he mentioned, on some funding. We have been hit like other 501c3s, and hopefully we'll have some good news soon of some funding coming in. But again, I just want to thank you all for your dedication, your commitment to NECAT as far as being members, and keep on making that content. And we look forward to seeing you guys in person real soon.
Well, very good. I think that's about all that we have for you. So this meeting is going to go up on our YouTube channel, which is just youtube.com/NECAT Network. So if you want to watch it back and, send me any other questions by email, you're welcome to do that. Like I say, I'm here for you guys. I'm here to be your advocate, to try to get you the things that you need. And again, just to be your voice. So please reach out to me if there's something that we can do to make things happen. We love all the content that you're sending us. Again, we encourage you, just keep making that stuff at home the best that you can. And we hope to see you all back in the studio real soon.
Thank you.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right.
Guys, take care.
Bye now.